Heart Race is one of my favorite songs on the album, but it's also one of my favorite stories.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a heart race, wasting my time spent chasing a heart worth saying it to. Feels like I'm just.
I feel like a lot of people don't know how our writing process works, but a lot of the time one of us comes in with a title, an idea, and we had done an edit, funny enough, for Superfine with Speed Racer, the anime, in the background, sort of. And I remember editing it one night while you were working on another song of ours, and I was like, wow, it would be so cool to have a song that feels like we're racing or something like that. But what's, our emotional take on it? And I landed on Heart Racer, which I brought to you in a session. And the now beautiful, but it was sort of sad at the time, we had written it with another writer, Nate Seifert.
Seifert, yeah.
And we love him and we loved working with him, but sometimes you come in with a great idea and it just doesn't work, right? And I was very disappointed. I remember telling you like, oh, maybe it could still work. And it's just we just didn't nail it that day. And sometimes that happens and a great idea could sort of be dead on arrival. And then I'll let you tell the rest of the story, how you made me very happy.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear you talk about it like that, because it's like songs die for different reasons, in my opinion, right? And that one, it's not that it wasn't a bad song. I mean, it wasn't a good song, sorry. It was solid. Like, it definitely had a place. I just don't know if I had a place like in its current, the way it was, which is why I understand why it was like such a heartbreaking thing, no pun intended, for you at the time. But honestly, I thought, for me, knowing what like we can do with concepts like that, and like how great it could have been sonically and just like melodically and all that, I felt like almost I was even pushing for the concept just to shine even more. You know what I mean? Because it was such a good concept.
Thanks, man.
And I think that, I don't know, one day I was sitting with a guitar and I was like, man, I kind of want to do this song a service form, or this thing a service form, this title a service for you. And something just came out. The whole melody of the chorus just spit out. The concept, we ended up fleshing out, the lyrics we ended up fleshing out, but like as far as the melody, like from start to finish, that thing just went.
And that rarely happens.
It doesn't really happen.
Yeah. I remember when you showed it to me. Right? I'm pretty sure you like played it for me. I was like, well, that's the chorus.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, it's funny too, because the last time I could even remember voice memoing something that translated that well was the first song we ever put out, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Please don't unbury that song now that I just brought that up. But yeah, it was cool to see it translate that way too. And even like watching your excitement about me bringing it back up was like a whole beautiful moment. You know what I mean? Like, I think for music, we have so many songs that die and we can just forget about them and it's fine. It's rare when something resurfaces and it resurfaces that quick.
Yeah.
But even this concept of us taking something that was so great and then like switching it up and doing our like new iteration of it, I don't think we've ever done that before, which was a fun experience for this wave of writing.
No, I think it's hard when songs die, but it's way harder to bring a song back to life. And this was that times two. And I thought it was so cool that, like, number one, you were excited about a concept, and like, we try to keep each other excited. And when we make each other excited, it's a really, we're like, fuck it, I did something really cool here.
Yeah.
I just loved the idea of Heart Racer. So bringing that back, and then I think it was a 2-day write for you and I after. I was so inspired, and I'm so glad how it came together. And also, it's a pretty dynamic song. I like that. The idea of the first chorus is not as emotionally provocative and as the second chorus, and it really is like a beginning to end. And
it's also another thing to note too, is the first time in Flyby history that we've ever done a chorus where both of us are singing our own choruses.
For sure.
Which I always thought it would be fun, like as we do music, right? You think of different ways to elevate what we do and how to make it more exciting and more interesting for us, is like, that's a simple thing to do, right?
For sure.
And we've just never done it before for whatever reason. And it's cool that like something that was almost that bread and butter for us, if we're really honest with ourselves, that we chose that one to experiment in that way. We even had a whole sit down where I was like, all right, we're gonna make each section, verse to pre to chorus, slowly just elevate in speed tempo a little bit. So this one will be 108 and this will be 110 and this will be.
You ended up not doing that.
Tried it. No, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I even thought the bridge section could have like used it to be exciting, but I even tried that there and it didn't make sense. But like we definitely threw the kitchen sink at this and it came out, I think, as perfect as it could have.
Yeah, and I think what's cool is, yeah, you're right. This song represents just another song that we're trying to challenge ourselves and do cool shit. And this far exceeded my expectations for sure.
Bet.
Bet.
No cap.
Facts.
Messing up, no, I've never been so messed up. The more I try to give all my love to someone other than you.
Lesson Love, my favorite song on the album.
Yeah. Redact that statement.
It just took me a little bit to come around to it. I'll let you give the story.
Yeah, I mean, this is the grandpa of the album, right? This has got the most age to it. We wrote this one in the summer of, I think, 2023, right?
Yeah.
It was a while ago. We had this little phase where we were just writing a bunch and got some cool stuff from it. But this one, for me, the longest time stood out as like an obvious favorite. This is a thing where like two working on music together, as long as we have, there's like a balance between like respecting how passionate someone is about something and then like just finding a way to push for it a little more.
Yeah.
I feel like I get away with pushing for it more. You like tend to just be like, oh, okay, Slavo said no, we're not doing it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Which probably isn't healthy.
No, but I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna stick your neck out and say no on something, I'm gonna trust your instinct. But I tend to just say no at a lot of things.
The thing that shocked me
You know?
about this song though, because it's so catchy, like we were talking about the parallel between Nothing New and Superfine before. To me, this is like, it's different, but In the Night and Lesson Love to me are like the same like sitcom intro melody that like I had to feel like I had to push for it to get it out there just because it was so catchy and so fun. And any song with tempo too, I'm always gonna be an advocate for it just because live, right? Like you wanna get people moving and that's always our goal to have fun on stage. But this one, you were really hitting a wall with that first verse, like your presentation of it vocally, and I never heard it that way. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was so frustrated with how my voice sounded on it. I mean, there's so many layers to the song. Like, I loved the fun of it. When we wrote it, I thought it felt so fun and great. We speak about like my sweet spot of singing, and this just felt like a challenge. And even with the final record now, for me, I'm like, oh, I could have done it cooler, which is a good feeling. You want to outdo yourself. But
that's what you have live for, right?
Yeah,
you
exactly.
have to do it every night.
Yeah, for sure. But I remember years later when you brought up to me, you were like, hey, I really think this has to come out on the album. I was like, okay, well, we only recorded my verse 1 back then. Maybe I'll approach verse 2 years later and I'll like crack the code.
Yeah.
And I felt like I did. But then the weird part was when we went to go listen back to verse 1,
You're like,
it sounded the same.
doesn't sound any different. It sounds great.
It sounds great. So people don't know, but my verse 1 was recorded in 2023 and my verse 2 was recorded this past year.
Yeah. We even finished up a lot of those vocals when we moved to, we're in a new space now. This is our new headquarters.
Yeah.
So we actually finished that song. That probably had the longest, like, even longevity from start to finish of any song that we've ever done, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and so I think that was one concern I had. And then the other one was like, which again, I appreciate you for like pushing us outside of our comfort zone, but I think the concept of the song being less in love with someone because you're thinking of someone else felt abrasive to me, real. But like, can we get away with saying that? Will people want to hear that story from us? And the truth is, so far they have. And it's kind of freed up my mind. Like the next album, we could write a song like, you know?
Yo, don't cut that out. That was crazy.
Sorry, man, I'm just making a point here.
That's crazy.
Yo, yeah, sorry.
I was not saying it.
But yeah, that's the idea that I think I really came around to the song, and now it is. I mean, it's such a fun song.
Yeah.
And what made me fall more in love with it was when we were shooting social content for it recently. I pictured this risky business, Tom Cruise, intro of us sliding in, and now I see the song for what it is. It just took me a little longer than you.
Yeah, I think a good look behind the curtain too with this one is like, it's going back to the whole team thing, right? Like when we were going back and forth on this and like trying to figure out songs that were gonna come out around that time, we were trying to think of how the lap 3 would work out, right? And our team really liked the song too, which made it even better. Like it was even more convincing for trying to persuade you to be on board with it. But then it was like, okay, well, we have this timeline and lap 3 of 3 isn't really working out the way we wanted to. But we have this song, Lesson Love, that most of us like, that we could convince all of us to like. And then it could sneak on as like a double release, which we don't do a lot of on this third iteration of the races. And it almost became like this, like, okay, well, we could do something unique with it, release it in a way that we haven't done anything before. It's still an awesome song. We could still push it. We could still make content about it. But at least it's doing something different versus just being another single. Because I think that was a big thing too, like putting that much attention on it almost like was, you know, but who knows? That could be one of those songs too, where like, I don't think any of us thought No Choice could have been the best thing we ever did. But look at that song.
I wouldn't be surprised if Lesson Love becomes that, because even, you know, people just want to get lost in music right now and have a fun time. And yeah, I think it is a really fun song. And again, good learning lesson for me that like, sometimes what's not your favorite may be someone else's favorite.
Yeah.
And I think that is a big part of us working together, that we sort of, I think of other songs, just deep cut. There was a song years ago on an album called Heart. Do you remember that one?
Yep.
That was a big favorite of yours. Was not my jam. And now I listen to it and I'm like, oh, I'm glad we put that one out.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of working in a duo. We sort of inspire each other. What would you say is one song that I like more on this album than you?
Oof, that's tough. I spend so much time with these songs, man. It's like the baby conversation, right? Just from the production side of it, I hear them so many times. So I don't know if I could like think of one that I don't like, you know, necessarily. What do you think I wouldn't like?
I think I like.
Or what do you like more than I
think
do?
I like Divine Thing more than you.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that.
It's a bit more like, you know, like the Sing Street shit. It like speaks to my heart a bit more, where I think more of the alt stuff may, you know, speak to you.
Yeah, for sure. I see that.
But, you know, we love Divine Thing too. Yeah.
Anyways, Lesson Love.
Lesson Love.
You know it kills a man to define things, but looking at you is a divine thing. I changed my mind.
Nashville, Tennessee. Home of the brave. Is that what they know?
That's
home of the Cowboys.
Home of really good barbecue.
Yeah, true.
Although my stomach always hurts when we come back from it.
How to butcher the slogan of Nashville in one video.
I feel like every album we do a trip to Nashville to write, right?
For the sake of Christian, our A&R over at Prescription being there, we try to just go say hi to them every now and then. But for the sake of, we had success on the last album, so we thought, why not try it again?
We wrote 3 songs on the last album.
Yeah.
That were set up by our publisher and stuff. And the idea was we had a decent amount of the album already done, right? Before this. And
yeah, for sure.
we were like, let's do another week in Nashville. And the first session of the whole trip, right?
Yeah, it's usually how it works, right?
Yeah, we
work off that initial energy of the trip.
And that energy was great. I mean, it was our first time working with Trent Dabbs, and third time working with Mokita,
yeah.
who we did Borrow Your Time, Clear with. And when I think of that session, I think that is the perfect scenario of a Fly By Midnight co-write, because Trent very quickly learns how you and I operate. Mokita knows how you and I are, and they let us run, but they took moments in the session where they just elevated, and they just turned the knob up 10%. And I think that's where we thrive. We're like,
for sure,
people let us do what we do best, but also have these moments where, they just throw something at it that we're like, oh, that changes the game.
Yeah.
And I remember walking out of that session and getting a demo and sending it to my wife back home and being like, I think I told her I will cry if we don't release a song. Because it just felt like so fun.
I wish I would have seen that text. I would have just fucked with you anyways and just been like,
the
song's okay, I guess.
What did you make fun of me when I was leaving the studio and you heard me on the Ring camera talking to my phone?
Oh, yeah.
I love you coming home, baby.
I got to make like a compilation of all these things of the cringe.
I love that session. That's the sort of rooms I want to write in and work in. That's what I remember from the song. What about you?
Yeah, I think about how we love collaborating, and when we're collaborating, we look for things that, like anyone would, that are like, you know, holes in what our operations, right? And like, not that it's a hole, but like sometimes when you get to the end of writing a record or you spend so much time, you've kind of run out of concepts that are unique. You know what I mean? You come up with these things and maybe you're just kind of like reaching for things and it doesn't really make sense. And the best thing about working with collaborators is that they offer that fresh perspective. And Trent, when we started that, like we were even saying, like even titles, like story ideas, like anything that you have. And Divine Thing was one of those first things he seemed excited about too, which is always exciting. And seeing that and like hearing that concept and it feeling so different and something that would relate to us and like we made it, you know, relatable to us, was so cool to see it fleshed out. And like Mokita just did his thing. Like he left me, this is like kind of been a like process for him and I too in the past songs we've worked on, but like he left me a perfect template as like demo day one, this is what the song vibe is gonna be, and like take it and run. And then I'm able to do that, and it like makes our job so much easier too, like when we're already in the weeds with everything else that we're writing and working on and, you know, shooting videos for and stuff. And yeah, and Nashville, I just, you know, it's cool when you go there. I feel like your goal is to tell a story, and we were able to do that with this one. I really do think that we accomplished something special. And then past that too, like you get into the sonics and the visual component of this video. And the coolest thing for me, like working on this, is like when you think of Nashville, you think of, okay, how can I get a guitar in my hand? At least that's how I think.
Sure. Yeah.
And this past year, or the tour that we went on with Arizona, I was gifted two of these beautiful guitars, one of them being a 12-string. And the story behind that is that there were my wife's uncles that passed, and they were given to his brother, who then, you know, gifted it to me. And it was
so
cool.
your father-in-law gifted you the guitar.
Yes, that was a much easier way to say that.
Yeah.
But it was such an awesome thing for me to like take home, and like we have toys all around here, but like having something that's like special and tells a story, and you hold it and like you like almost want to go towards it more because there's something so special about it. And this song like felt like it was like, okay, this needs a 12-string, which not a lot of songs do. Like you can definitely overdo the 12-string, but that's like when you hear this song, that's the signature sound. And it's so cool because then it made it into the video. Even has like, I don't know if you've like towards the end when it pulls out and has like that little special, I don't know, it's cool to think about each of these stories, right? There's so many layers to it, but like that one has like a little bit of a special asterisk on it.
I mean, and it sounds so beautiful on the song. And to me, being a little bit more novice on that, but I heard you play it and I was like, whoa. It just, I don't know, it has, the song has this like brevity to it. And it's just gonna be so fun to play live. And there's just a lot that I feel like we went for something and we got an A+ on the assignment.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always happen like that. But I look back on the song very fondly for a lot of reasons.
Another fun thing to note production-wise, it's the first song, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we started with the drum fill. It's not like the most impressive things though. Drummers, don't go listen to it and be like, wow, this guy's trash. But the fact is, it starts with a drum fill. And I remember when I had that as kind of a filler, and it was always my goal to keep it like that. But then you heard it and you're like, is that how we're gonna keep it? I was like, yeah, what do you think? You're like, dude, that's sick.
Yeah, and you just reminded me. Barrow. You also reminded me, we wrote it and recorded the day one demo a lot slower.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a note, honestly, too, from Manager Matt, our manager back on the East Coast.
Manager Matt.
Every now and then he'll throw me a little note on the side, and he was like, yo, let's just make that a little faster. And I was like, head was already there, but thank you for confirming. And
wow, Matt, what a great idea.
But honestly, though, you think about it, and like sometimes you're like hesitant, like, yo, maybe this is how it has to be. And then you hear that from your team, and it's like, okay, that's what their head's at too, and that just reaffirms.
Yeah, last thought, I think a lot of people that don't do what we do for a living, they wouldn't know. But yeah, when you leave with a demo on day one, it's very easy to fall in love with it. Mm-hmm. And you have to re-rack your brain to be like, no, that's just a template. There's so much that could change. And I think you and I have gotten pretty good at it. We've been doing this for almost 10 years, but it's not easy. It's not easy to be like, I've been listening to this demo so much slower. Now you're gonna, you know, like make it faster. It sounds like a Chuck E. Cheese song.
The demo didn't even have drums.
Yeah.
If you think about it, that, you know, it's
Sure.
like even hearing it that way is like a whole different perspective to it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Divine thing.
you know what kills a man? Acapella. You know what kills a man? Cut.